Okay, so I don't know if this is going to work or not, or even if I'm going to upload it, or even if I'm going to edit it. We'll see. I just figured I wanted to talk about the European Union for a bit and the bizarre political, where we are with politics right now, because it's crazy. Um, and I want to talk about it in such a way that if you know nothing, you could understand it, okay? I want to see if I can explain what's going on, because I'm struggling to understand myself. So I figure if I try to talk it through, it will either show up the bits that I don't understand, or help someone else understand what the hell is going on, okay? That is the aim of this. We'll see if it works. So basically, we joined the EU about 40 years ago-ish, a bit more. And the EU is this union of countries in Europe who are dedicated to making sure dictatorships aren't a thing. It's easy to trade between all the European countries. There are laws across all of them that, every country has to abide by. Basically, to start making the world united in a totally globalized society, or at least make Europe united. And pretty much everyone wanted to be in it in the 70s, so we ended up in the European Union. Hey, that's great. But the Conservative Party, which is the right-wing party for anyone in America or, doesn't understand that, the Conservative Party was split on this decision. There were a lot of people in the Conservatives, probably about 30%, who didn't want to be in the European Union. So they were a little bit not happy when we joined. Generally speaking, the Labour Party, main left-wing party, good. Yeah, they were pleased. They wanted that. Generally speaking, the whole left wanted it. Most of the right wanted it, but not everyone. So another party was founded in the sort of 70s, 80s, I can't remember the exact date, called the United Kingdom Independence Party, which is now called UKIP. They wanted Great Britain, to be free of Europe. No longer have to abide by all these rules that Europe was setting out. They wanted to be the United Kingdom, free from Europe. So that was a thing. Lots of people unhappy. Goes on for a while. Then UKIP begins to gain traction because there is a lot of racism going on in the country. Lots of people not a fan of Southern European immigrants. This whole immigrants are stealing our jobs thing becomes massive at the forefront of everyone's mind. So UKIP starts to gain traction. And because they're such a right-wing party, and because so many Conservatives don't like the fact that we're in the European Union, Conservative MPs start leaving the Conservative Party to join UKIP. And that is something which is not good for the Conservative Party because they're not united anymore. They are struggling to govern and rule. So there is an election where the Conservatives and Labour, two big parties, anything could happen. So what both parties need is a unified party. David Cameron, who's in charge of the Conservatives at the time, promises to offer a referendum on whether or not we're in the EU. This means that all the people who want to stay in the EU in the Conservative Party think this is fine, we can just vote it down. Most of us don't want it anyway. And the people who do want a referendum don't leave the Conservative Party for UKIP because they believe that if they stay in the Conservative Party, there's a better chance that England will leave the European Union. So, this goes okay for the Conservatives to begin with. They do win the election. But the Scottish National Party, which is a big left-wing party in Scotland, they do good. They do far better than anyone expected, and Labour do far worse. UKIP also get quite a lot of votes, but not that many seats. So now we have Conservative Party, who's promised this referendum, UKIP, who have got a lot of votes, but not many seats, Labour, who are really weak, because a lot of their places have been taken by the Scottish Nationalist Party. So, referendum rolls around, and somehow it gets a lot of traction. The people from the UK Independence Party pushing for it really hard, a lot of them quite angry that they didn't get a representative number of seats for their number of votes. So this means that we have a super motivated UK Independence Party. Conservative Party, the Conservative MPs who have remained in the Conservative Party in spite of the fact they want to leave the European Union, they basically joining UKIP and saying, yes, we want this, we want the referendum, we want everything to work out for us so that we leave the European Union because we don't like immigrants, we don't like these foreigners taking our jobs. And also, we don't like the regulations that they put on us because we want to be, we want to be independent. And some Conservatives who have aligned themselves more to the right than the Conservative Party generally is, start backing the referendum, backing the Leave campaign, in spite of the fact that they probably want to remain, just because they are more in need of the support from the people further to the right. This is people like Boris Johnson, who was a bit on the fence, then eventually came down on the side of let's leave the European Union, because he needed that right-wing support. So the European Union referendum happens, and we leave, but we've not actually left yet. So it's probably going to take quite a while to leave. It could be anything from about 6 months to 2 years before we're actually gone, because we need to agree with the EU how the country is going to work, because we don't have all of these laws that the EU has passed governing us anymore, and we don't have any of the rights that we did in the EU, and we can't use their market, and the value of the pound has dropped because of the regulations that the European Union had made it easier for trade in the countries. It made it easier for companies to be in both United Kingdom and the rest of Europe. So this is massive damage to the economy that this has done, like insane. But it gets weirder, and what it's done to politics it's crazy. And I don't know if I can even start to explain this. So, we are the United Kingdom, right? We are a kingdom of countries. We are a country of countries. We have England, we have Wales, we have Northern Ireland, and we have Scotland. And most of these countries have their own parties who want to basically run the countries as independent countries from the central country. Big one being the Scottish National Party, which I mentioned before. They want to leave the United Kingdom. They want Scotland to become their own country. Overwhelmingly, massively, like insane amount, they voted to stay in the European Union. So the people in Scotland feel that the whole of the United Kingdom is leaving the European Union in spite of the fact that Scotland wanted to stay. So what's going to happen, almost certainly, because this has happened before, is that Scotland is going to have their own referendum to decide whether or not Scotland is going to become an independent country, and it was close last time. This time, Scotland will leave. The United Kingdom will no longer exist. Our flag will be different because there will be no white cross, because Scotland will have gone. Okay? That is insane. What's worse is that the Conservative Party gets most of their support from England. Labour, who lost massively in the last election, they get a lot of support from Scotland because Scotland is far further left than the rest of the country. So if Scotland leaves, Labour is losing massive amounts of votes. Labour will probably never win again in the country. We will have a one-party state if Scotland leaves. So that is bizarre. If we look at Ireland, Ireland has had massive wars over the fact that Northern Ireland and the island is divided in two, part of which is part of the United Kingdom, part of which isn't. It's now looking like Ireland might want to rejoin the rest of Ireland, which will cause just bizarre amounts of conflict. There were massive wars there. I had a maths teacher in year 9 who was there when there were wars in Ireland because of the division. Some people wanted it divided, some people wanted it united. There has been peace there now. There has been peace, okay? Because everything has been stable. Now Ireland is going to have this whole question again of, do we want to be Ireland or do we want to be Northern Ireland? And that is going to cause war. That is going to cause just internal conflict at a massive level. Wales is probably going to be fine. Wales and England, we don't get along very much, but Wales isn't going to leave us. So it's going to be the United Kingdom of England and Wales. Two countries from our union of 4. There are islands as well. Islands, not islands. That look like they're going to... bizarre things are going to happen. Gibraltar is going to be partly Spain, partly the United Kingdom, so no idea what's going to happen with that. Just, what is going on with this country? I don't even understand the economics of this, but the recession in 2007 took the value of the pound down by 8%. We've been trying to work at getting the value of the pound back to where it was, get that 8% back, and in the past 48 hours, the value of the pound has dropped 10%. So that's like 9 years of economic progress just tossed away because people say, these people come and taking our jobs. You've tried to fix the economy, right? This is what people are thinking. If we can get the people from Central Europe who are coming, taking our jobs, if we can get rid of them and sort them out, then we will fix the economy of the United Kingdom, because it's still suffering from all of these things that have happened in the past, right? We've taken it back 9 years. 9 years of progress gone because people are like, what the fuck? Europeans haven't ruined the economy. You have. Fuck. What are you thinking? I'm getting too passionate about this. People are stupid. Okay, also, I want to go to this thing of an excellent metaphor that I quite like, which is our country has just been raped, right? That is not something you want to hear, okay? So, I can't remember the exact figure, sort of somewhere between 70 and 80% of people actually voted in this, right? And it was close. It was 50-50, pretty much. It was like 52-48 on, when the poll finally came in, which is actually about 41-39. Now, 39% voted to say, let's stay. 41% voted to say, let's not. 20% of people didn't vote, okay? If you say to someone, do you want to have sex, right? Not that you do it in that way, because that's not how that works. But if you said that and they said yes, you'd be like, hey, that's great, we can do this thing. If you said, do you want to do that? And they said no, you'd be like, fair enough, let's not. If you did that and they didn't say anything, let's say they were unconscious, let's say they were drunk and just kind of went, blah, 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 you wouldn't have sex with them, because that would be rape, okay? That's not too complicated. So let's say that 20% of people didn't give an answer. We said, do you want to do this insane thing to this country? 40% of people said, yeah, I want to do that. 40% of people said, no, don't want to do that. 20% of people didn't say anything. Those 20% of people, that should be taken as a no. Because you've asked, do you want to do this thing, or do you want to do nothing? And no, people who don't say anything, you can't say, well, they didn't say anything, they didn't say no, so we can have sex anyway. That's not how that works. I just don't understand how this has happened, okay? I don't understand why people have voted, to leave, and I don't understand how 20% of people that didn't vote are being counted as not voting either way. Because if you don't vote, that should be taken as a no. Because I'm so angry about this. I've gone from being just sad, which I was depressed, beyond belief about how this has happened. And that's gone. It's fine. It's happened. Shit happens. What can you do? But this is insane. This is not democracy, okay? The number of people I have seen saying we voted to leave the European Union because we don't like unelected politicians running our lives. You do realise that now our Prime Minister has stepped down, meaning that we will have a politician we did not elect running our country. This country that you have tried to take back from the unelected politicians, you have given to an unelected politician. What the fuck? Okay? That is insane. I've used that word far too many times in this video, but that is insane. Okay? Right. I'm gonna stop now because I've got incredibly angry. And I don't quite know how to stop being angry, so I'm gonna edit this video and I'm gonna hope that that calms me down. Okay, good. Nice to talk to you. I'm sorry, I don't normally get like this on this channel, but I am furious. What is happening to our country? Oh wait, no, there is another thing. There is another thing that I need to talk about, which is the fact that 75% of people under the age of 25 voted to stay in the European Union. That is something that... okay, this is going to have an effect on us, right? People who have voted leave the European Union, who are like 80, they are going to die off. The 68% of people who are 80 and voted leave, it's not going to have an effect on them, right? I know I sound mean, I love my grandparents, but it's our future, not yours. That is my final angry point. Okay, I'm going to go edit this shit, and I'm going to complain to the world, because this is not a democracy. This is insane, this is stupid. I don't understand how this has happened. Fuck.